What is going on, guys? This is Luis Medrano. This is another episode of the Fit Foodie podcast. And in this episode, we're going to talk about my vegan story. Fit Foodie podcast is for plant-based foodies who want to lose weight, feel great, and elevate their lives. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. This is all about my vegan story. When I went vegan, how I went vegan, my process throughout the years, mistakes and lessons that I've learned, and where I am now as a 40-year-old vegan, thriving in this lifestyle and enjoying every process of it. So, just a little background. I first went vegan in 2007. So yeah, we're talking, man, it's coming up on 20 years. And that's pretty crazy to think about. But just even before being vegan, I grew up on the standard American diet. So my household, I grew up in a Mexican household. Both of my parents are from Mexico, and I grew up I considered myself a Mexican American. So I grew up heavy on meat, meat eater, basically every meal. For me, it was honestly I was huge on dairy, all about cheese, all about milk. I remember I used to work as a dishwasher in my high school job, and I used to go in those walk-in refrigerators that they had at the food service place that I worked out and just chug cold milk. Like that was just my thing. I was so into dairy, right? And just growing up, following the standard American diet. When I got into college, my freshman year, I ballooned over 30 pounds to where when I started. I don't know if you guys ever heard of freshman 15, but for me, it was like freshman 30. When I first went vegan when I first went into college, and it was not fun being overweight. After college, I was over 200 pounds, and it was not fun, especially after being pretty much an athlete all my life, being active, growing up playing soccer. Eventually just kind of let myself go and just following more of the standard American diet versus what I grew up eating, which is like traditional Mexican food that my mom would make. But either way, I was heavy on the SAD diet, right? The standard American diet. And then I remember right around 2007, before I went vegan around fall of 2007, if I remember correctly, it was like around September, October, somewhere around there. But anyways, around that time, my cousin was living with us, and he was never a milk drinker. I remember at being little kids, he just was like never a milk drinker, and he just did not like milk for some reason. That was his like thing, right? And I remember him living with us. He kind of turned me on to veganism. He went vegan first, and to me, I didn't judge him. I didn't say, "Oh, I could never do that." I just didn't think twice about it. I just like, "Oh, cool, you're doing that now. All right, cool, that's cool." And I didn't think about asking questions or being curious or anything like that. And just slowly started to learn more about what veganism was. And our friend circle at that time, there was another buddy of ours who was vegan, and he had been doing it for a while, and just always hanging out and talking and hanging out, having conversations about it. And I got more interested in it little by little. Not like I was like, I wasn't against it, but I also wasn't going in all the way, right? So we're still in 2007, and I remember clearly the name of the movie, right? The buddy that I'm speaking of, he shared with us a movie called Eating. It was called Eating DVD, right? That was the name of it. And I remember watching it with my siblings and with my cousin. And basically the premise of the movie was more focused on the health reasons for a vegan diet and also the benefits of the environment, and just kind of talked about all that. And I personally, the part that stood out to me the most was the health aspects of it. Kind of growing up, even though I grew up on, meat and cheese and dairy, and then I got more into the standard American diet, I always had in the back of my mind this interest in health. I remember in middle school, like I remember in sixth grade, I remember talking to my mom one day over dinner. We were having a meal, and I just remember telling her, like, I want to, buy these types of foods at school. And then I want to do this kind of exercise after school. Like I was just into health and fitness as a kid. Not that I had any specific plan or goals or anything. It was something that was always interesting to me. And so when I saw that movie, Eating DVD, this was in 2007. Even though it talked about all the aspects of veganism, to me, it was all what interested me the most was the health aspects of it. And it just lit up a light bulb in my head like, dude, look at all the health benefits of going plant-based. Wow, I didn't know that. Did you know that, sleep, energy, skin, overall body and weight and all these benefits that were associated with the vegan diet and all this research that was done, right? And then watching the movie, there was also the discussion of the environmental aspects and the benefits of the environment. And that also clicked with me, right? There was a part of the movie, and even to this day, I can't. It started talking about the animals and the treatment of animals, and I did not watch that part. I honestly I didn't have to, because I was pretty convinced at that point, for the health reasons and just the environment, to give veganism a try. And I honestly did not watch the animal portion of it. I could not, I can't watch that stuff. And even to this day, I don't watch it. I don't tell anyone to watch that. It's just, I just don't, I don't do that. But anyways, that movie, Eating DVD, is what turned me onto veganism back in 2007. And basically, I went vegan overnight. I literally went vegan overnight, and it was a learning process, of course, doing the whole veganism thing, but I did it overnight. And it was cool that I had my cousin living with us, who he had already been doing veganism for a while, and we supported each other. And then our friend circle, we started to go vegan, and our buddy who had already been vegan was teaching us and kind of guiding us along the way. So there were some positive influences in my life at that time that helped me during that change and that transition. But once I went vegan, I never looked back. It was like, that was it. Now, I'm gonna be fully transparent with you right now. I have not been, I'll call myself the imperfect vegan. I haven't been the perfect vegan. I'm not going to say that I've been 1000% like perfect from 2007 to today, because I have not. Fully on full transparency, full honesty. Just in traveling or being in different countries, I've tried certain foods that possibly, or some that I knew were not vegan, and I totally admit that. I haven't been the perfect vegan, but I've always learned from those experiences, and just be better as best as I can every day. So my vegan story started when after watching Eating DVD. After that, I just got so into the topic, and again, especially the health aspects of it. I started researching, and that back then was when social media was really blowing up. Facebook and Instagram and all those, email lists and these different summits that people were popping up with, vegan lifestyle summits. And I would join all those and sign up for these emails and get these ebooks and try different recipes. And it, I eventually stumbled on, there was even more. I kind of just fell into the rabbit hole of like veganism. I discovered then raw veganism and 80-10-10 and whole food, plant-based, and all these doctors that were promoting veganism and writing about it, like legitimate, doctors who did the research and were publishing all this information in books. And I just got into all of that, reading and getting into it. And eventually I kind of gravitated more towards the raw vegan fruit-based lifestyle, right? And I followed raw veganism. I wasn't always 100% raw. Like I never really followed 100% raw vegan. It was more like breakfast, lunch, snacks were all raw, and then dinner was raw sometimes, like a huge salad or something. But I was really into the raw vegan lifestyle, and it was during those years of being raw vegan that I lost the most weight. I felt like I was glowing, and I just felt my energy was really good. I was playing soccer again, and I was like, my stamina on the field was just incredible, the best I've ever experienced, right? And I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. Just the raw vegan lifestyle, but I knew that I really didn't want to be 100%. It wasn't my like goal to be fully raw in every meal, like no cook. Like I enjoyed um vegan dishes, vegan restaurants, trying different foods like that. But it was easy for me to have like breakfast at the very least to be raw, lunch, sometimes dinner, depending on what it was. But what happened? So after years of kind of doing that, I still being vegan, I fell more into like the kind of a almost a vicious cycle of overly eating out a lot and going out drinking, and especially on the weekends, I would eat healthy during the week, and then come Friday, Saturday, I would go out drinking or have late nights or, partying till 2, 3 in the morning, sleeping in. And it was just this cycle of like, I mean, it wasn't a crazy party lifestyle, but it wasn't, anything that was benefiting me in any way other than just being social. And I enjoyed that part of it too, but eventually fell into this cycle of yeah, eating healthy during the week, some raw, some cooked, but always vegan for the most part. I haven't been perfect, but for the most part. And I eventually kind of started gaining weight again. That really wasn't working out for me, and um I gained I don't know. I never really was one to weigh myself a lot, but if I had to guess, it was like I jumped back up to like 20 more pounds overweight. And then I would join these challenges to lose weight, 6 week challenges, and I would lose the weight and then it would come back again. It was kind of a back and forth yo-yo cycle, and all the while being vegan, right? I still enjoyed a lot of raw foods, even now to this day, promoting more of a fitness style approach to veganism. I still enjoy a lot of raw foods, especially like salads and smoothies, which are for me the easiest, and fresh fruit foods to have raw. And anyways, getting back to kind of my weight gain, I became like a skinny fat vegan over time. And skinny fat meaning that I looked lean, but when I looked in the mirror, I really was not that. I was pretty flabby. I was not as lean and fit as I thought I was. I always carried around excess belly fat, even though on the outside, when wearing clothes, I looked pretty lean, but it was a skinny fat body. And I never really achieved like the type of fitness. Eventually I started to get more into fitness being vegan because I had the energy, but I never saw much, results. I didn't see a fit body. I didn't see muscles, and I never saw a six pack or any muscle gain or anything like that. And, I eventually transitioned more toward, instead of just trying to do a lot of raw food, I transitioned more towards trying to have a more balanced approach as far as learning about macronutrients and micronutrients, macros being protein, carbs, and fats. And then it wasn't until I started working with a vegan athlete, a coach, who taught me about vegan macros and how to do it properly for fitness if one wants to lose weight. And that, in my case, I told him my goal was, I've never in my life ever have seen my six pack. Never. I've never seen my six pack ever in my life. I mean, I know they're there, but I've never seen them. So I want to be able to see abs. That was my goal. That's what I told him. So he explained to me the process was to, in order for that to happen, you got to shed belly fat. You got to lower your calories so that you can burn the fat and reveal the muscles, basically is what it was. So I went on a 4 month journey with this coach, this vegan coach, and I eventually did it. I did it and I reached my goal of being able to see my abs, and it was amazing. I learned so much during that, and I'm grateful for that experience, definitely. But what that taught me was to have a more balanced approach, for me at least, was the way to go versus trying to do all raw and I got to have my food has to be raw, or trying to do this style, or it's got to be 80-10-10 high carb, or it's got to be all everything whole food, and trying to do all these different styles of veganism. I just took a balanced approach, which was, now it's more, if I had to give it a name, it would be like eating for fitness, right? To be strong, to shed excess fat, to build muscle. And you can do that on any diet. But obviously, being vegan, I learned and implemented how to eat for fitness on a vegan diet. So that involved, knowing how much protein to get and from where, as on a vegan diet, knowing how much carbohydrates to eat and again from where, and then also your fats, right? All very, very important, essential macronutrients to consume. But I learned how to do them in a structured way so that I can decide, what, I'm going to shed a little fat. So now I'm going to, eat this amount, or I want to put on some muscle. and gain some strength. So I'm going to eat this much of that. So now I discovered and learned how to do veganism in that way. So that was my transition of where I'm at, where I went and where I'm at now. And it's been fun. It's been amazing. Now I enjoy eating what I want, how I want, and coming from the background of those years when I was doing raw veganism and focusing more on whole foods, whole plant-based foods, it became, once I learned about macronutrients and how to structure meals, for me it was pretty easy because I already had those years and that background of eating whole foods and how to what kind of foods to eat, how to build meals that included only whole foods. So for me, it was easy to understand how to build meals, but this time it was for fitness. So after I worked with my coach and I stayed with him for a year, he taught me how to reverse diet because I was able to see my abs, but then I realized, you know what, I don't have that much muscle on my frame. I want to put on more muscle. So he taught me how to structure my meals and how to eat more to be able to build muscle. And I have put on muscle. I can see it on my body. Is it where I'm at? No. Am I where I'm at now? No, of course not. I want to continue to build muscle on a vegan diet, but I now know how to structure it so that you're able to, eat for fitness is basically the idea, and be able to at will decide where you want to be. Like, you know what? I think I'm ready to put on some muscle. So I'm going to eat for the next 3, 4 months like this. Or you know what? I realize summer's around the corner and I'm going to a vacation. And so now I'm going to eat like this in order to shed a little extra fat. So that's called what I call eating for fitness, and which can be done for sure on a vegan diet. So, and that's where I'm at now. I've been coaching for the last year now. I got my personal trainer certification, and fitness is just my jam. Fitness is my jam now, and to be able to do it as a vegan, I'm going to turn 41 years old this year, and I feel better now than in my 30s and even my 20s. Right? I'm going to post a picture actually later of a picture of I was in my 20s, overweight, over 210 pounds, and where I am now in my vegan fitness journey. So, and that's where I find myself now, just eating more for fitness as a vegan, a more balanced approach versus being very rigid about, this style 80-10-10, or that style whole foods plant-based, or this style raw vegan. I mean, I'm grateful to have tried those different styles because it taught me so much about the value of plant-based nutrition and how to do it properly, right? And how to blast your body with nutrients, right? And now I understand, the building of meals and building of foods for your fitness goals. And that's basically my evolution of how I started in my vegan journey in 2007 to today. So just to recap, eating DVD was what turned me into veganism, turned me on to veganism. And I never looked back. And throughout the journey, I've learned a lot. I haven't been perfect. Absolutely not. Not the perfect vegan where I'm 100%, every single time. It's been an up and down journey, but I've learned I've learned so much, and I enjoyed trying these different styles of veganism over the years. Put on weight, lost weight, understood how to eat now for fitness and to stay fit and strong. And especially now, about to turn 41 this year, feeling stronger than I've ever had ever before. And it's because of, taking this vegan diet and utilizing it for fitness, for strength, for overall health, for feeling good, for being lean and strong, right? So, and it's a continual journey. I'm not saying that I'm already like my strongest and my fittest I've ever been. It's a continual journey, and that's where I'm at now. So I know it's a constant evolution, to be, you know, to be a vegan, and honestly on any diet. I could be talking about any diet here and it would be this very similar story, right? Because you can be fit and be strong and be vital on different diets, but obviously I choose veganism because, for me it's caring for each other, our environment, the animals, and I believe in the freedom and love of all animals. And so I'm all about that too. And of course, the health aspects of it too. Now, not to say that the other diets cannot be healthy, but for me, veganism is a healthy way of eating, and again, benefits the animals and the planet and humans, in general. So that's my vegan story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, just hit me up, let me know, and I'll be happy to share more about my journey or answer any questions about veganism that you had. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you soon. Peace and love.